Hey guys, welcome back to Inside a Teen's Mind. This is episode 2 and I'm your host. You can call me Little I or LI for short. First of all, thank you for coming back. Today we're continuing on discovering psychology. Now keep in mind that this is a huge field and there's no way I can squeeze everything into one short episode, but I'll give you the big picture and introduce some types of psychology. So when you hear the word psychology, what pops into your head? Maybe emotions, therapy, or mental health? If so, you're not wrong. Psychology is basically the study of the mind and behavior, which is how people think, feel, and act. It helps us answer those everyday questions like, why do I feel sad for no reason? Or why do I keep procrastinating on my homework? Or even why do I act differently with my friends than with my parents? That's why psychology matters, because once you understand yourself, you can deal with things better. This is called self-awareness. Plus, psychology helps with relationships, stress, motivation, and just living a better life. Okay, now let's do a quick world tour of the major branches of psychology. So number 1, we have biopsychology. This is like brain science. It studies how your brain, your neurons, and body affect your thoughts and actions. Imagine asking, what happens to your personality if a certain part of your brain is injured? That's biopsychology. Next up, we have clinical psychology. These are the psychologists who help diagnose and treat mental health issues like anxiety, depression, and more. Basically, they're the helpers when things get tough. Now we have cognitive psychology. This is the study of how we think. Problem solving, memory, decision making, all that brain power. So if you ever wonder why you forget where you put your phone, that is what a cognitive psychologist might be studying. Following that, we have counseling psychology. This is very similar to clinical psychology, and they have many overlaps. But counseling psychology is a little more focused on everyday stress, school pressure, or relationships, while clinical psychology works with more severe disorders. Counseling psychologists often work in schools or clinics. The next one is developmental psychology. This is the type where it follows humans through life stages. How do kids learn? Why do teens act the way they do? Mindsets of adults, etc., etc. It covers from your infancy to old age. Number 6, we have educational psychology. Have you ever wondered why some people are good at math while others struggle? Educational psychology studies how we learn, including challenges like ADHD or learning disabilities. Some people might be better at learning certain skills or subjects than others. And then we have experimental psychology. These are the scientists of psychology. They design and perform experiments to understand behavior and mental process. Following that, we can go into forensic psychology. Think psychology lawyers on the court. They connect psychology with the legal system, helping understand criminal behavior, law enforcement, and court cases. Next one, we can talk about industrial organizational psychology. First of all, every time I look at this field, I always think that this is too big of a word for this. Okay, let's get back on track. These psychologists study people at work, things like motivation, productivity, and teamwork. Basically, how to make work not so boring. But remember, this doesn't only apply to business settings. They also work in leaderships, culture, or even government settings. Number 10, we have personality psychology. The study of what makes you, you. Why are some people super outgoing while others are shy? How do genetics and experiences shape personality? That's this field. Going towards the end, we have social psychology. This is the study of how people act in groups. Why do you act differently at school versus at home? Why does peer pressure exist? Social psychology explains how our environment shapes us. Alright, last but not least, we have sports psychology. These psychologists help athletes deal with nerves, motivation, and mindset. Basically, the mental side of winning a game. Sports psychologists don't just work with athletes. They can also work with musicians, dancers, or anyone under pressure. Okay, so that was a lot. But here's the thing. Psychology is everywhere. Whether it's how you study, how you text your friends, or how you manage stress, psychology is in the background, even when you don't know it is. In today's episode, I only gave a quick and simple overview. If you guys would like, I can dive deeper into any one of these in a future episode. So whether you're here to learn or just have my podcast as background noise while you clean your room, congrats. You just learned the basics of psychology without even realizing it. Before I officially end today's episode, let's play a quick little game. I'll give you a scenario and you will try to guess which branch of psychology it belongs to. Let's go. Let's start with an easy one. A basketball player gets super anxious before every game, so they work with a psychologist to boost confidence. The answer is sports psychology. Did you get it right? Okay, on to the next one. A student struggles with ADHD and needs strategies to learn better in school. Alright, the answer is educational psychology. Did you get this one right? Because we're going to try harder ones now. So the next scenario is that you're trying to figure out why you can't remember where you put your AirPods. Here's a little hint. Think about studying things like memory. The answer to this one is cognitive psychology, because it studies memory and thinking. Alright, last one for today. You want to know why people sometimes follow the crowd, even when they disagree. Think about the one where it studies people's behavior in groups. The answer is social psychology, because it studies how people act in groups. Okay, how did we do on our first quiz? If we didn't get them right, no worries. You're learning, I'm learning, we'll learn more together. So, stay tuned for the next episode, and if you have any comments or suggestions, feel free to leave a comment or fill out my Google form that will be linked down below. I will get back to you guys as soon as possible. The resources I've used to create the content of this podcast will be listed down below also. If you want to read those, just click into the links. If you like my podcast, please leave a like or follow and share with other people. Thank you for listening to Inside a Teen's Mind today, and keep up with my channel for another real talk from a real teen's mind. Bye!